For this course, we're using the Scratch programming language. You can see here, this is the main Scratch website. Scratch is a simple block-based language that was designed to help teach people how to code. What we mean by block-based, you can see here we've got a picture of a Scratch program. Instead of students typing in commands to write their programs, they're going to drag the blocks and they kind of click together, and that's how they build the programs. For beginners, it reduces a lot of frustration. They can't make spelling mistakes. There's a lot less things that can go wrong when you're just clicking the blocks together. So again, the Scratch website, it's hosted here at MIT, and that's who maintains it. It's free and publicly available. And as we go through the website here, you'll see there are a lot of resources to help get you started. So one of the first things you'll want to do is actually create a login so you can save your programs. So over here, we've got sign in and join. If you join Scratch, you can go through and choose a username and your password just like anything else. And again, one of the things I really like is they help, if you're going to have students do this, they give little reminders like don't use your real name, things like that, so that students are staying safe online. I'm going to go ahead and sign in. And so you'll see now up here, this is our Code VA Coaches account. We've got our little logo. You can set your own avatar. And then we've got a couple options here. So if we click on the down arrow here, we can change our profile, my account settings. And then my stuff is where my programs are. So I have 16 shared projects. These are a lot of the projects you'll be seeing in the lessons you're going through for this course. I have a bunch of unshared projects, things that I started or just sort of playing around with. And then you can also create what are called studios. So here I've got a studio for each of the modules that we'll be going through as a part of the course. Now you'll also notice there are a lot of other pieces to the Scratch website. We're going to go back to the main page here with Scratch. You'll see we've got featured projects, featured studios, all kinds of different ways of going through and looking at other people's works. When I was talking about my published projects versus my private projects, one of the things people will do on Scratch is they'll decide they've created something amazing and they want to share it. And so those projects are public. And this is something you need to think about as you're working with this with your students. And it's up to you. Do you want them to be able to share their projects or do you want them to keep everything private? One nice thing about the Scratch website, I'm going to log back out again, sign out. And if we go back to the home page, you'll notice I get a slightly different home page now. I'm not logged in. You can go straight to try it out. And it takes it just a second. And I can go ahead and write programs even though I'm not logged in. And I can also here download my project to my computer. So if you're in a situation where maybe your district's policy or your own classroom rules, you don't want students creating logins and really don't want to manage that, they can actually work right online and then just download their programs to be able to save them. So it's a nice option if you have some limitations. Let's see, if we go under here under Create, that also takes us back to the editing screen we were just in. In the next lessons, we'll start learning how to actually put these blocks together. But in general, we have events, and we add blocks to the event. I'm going to have the cat move a couple times, and you'll see when I click the flag, I'm programming and making the cat move. And that's basically what programming is. We're combining commands to tell the computer what to do. All right, let's go back. I'm going to leave. I don't want to save that. So here, the join is where you would create a login. You've got lots and lots of examples. And then we've got a couple different pieces here. So About Scratch is just about sort of the background, where it comes from, who's editing it, things like that, a couple TED Talks. So if you're just curious about the Scratch interface and who's using it, one of the things I really like too about the Scratch interface is it's available in several different languages. So I know for us here locally, we've had several teachers use especially the Spanish version for students that are still mastering English. Let's see, let's go to the Info for Educators link. And you can see here you've got a couple different options. So first of all, we've got resources. This has a really good, strong curriculum guide with lots of great ideas. There are places around the country where Scratch educator meetups happen, which I think is really, really helpful, especially as you're learning and trying to just get new ideas of how to integrate this into your curriculum. And then there's also the Scratch Ed online community. And this one is maintained, you can see here at Harvard, but it's basically got lots and lots of resources. I kind of love the Scratch Day photo booth props. But it also has just lots of resources. You can search for people, you can search for different ideas. Here in Exchange resources, just again, tons and tons of different ideas. So let's say I want to integrate Scratch into science. You can see we've got 260 ideas for how to do that. So just again, lots and lots of different ideas. So here's one, loudness sensor. One of the things too that's really nice about Scratch is they work with a lot of other devices. So if you've ever played with like a French robot or some of those, there are interfaces you can download to make those work with the Scratch environment. So it's a really handy way, especially if you're going to be doing some robotics and other things, to get students into an environment where they're familiar with how it works so they can quickly get whatever the device is actually doing things. All right. There's also a pretty robust discussion board. So if you ever get stuck on something and you just have no idea, or you just want, hey, I need a great idea for this. I'm going to be doing an activity in art and I need something for second graders. There are tons of things there and people are pretty active in that discussion board. Okay, so let's go back to the main Scratch website real quick. So there's some information here if you decide you want a teacher account. Okay, and so you can kind of explore that on your own, but that's a nice way to sort of help track where your kids are and monitor things a little bit more. There's also a Scratch Wiki, so we'll be using this a little bit throughout the lessons. It's one of the fastest ways. So let's say that move block we just tried in our code, I want to learn more about that. If I search for move, so here's that move block, and it tells you all the different things. So a step is equal to 1 pixel length. That's handy to know. The block actually uses trig to move in the proper direction. So that's kind of cool. Depending on what level your students are in math, there are a lot of neat things you can do with that. And it goes into some other details on how to work around. Sometimes the workaround blocks are a little confusing to me. I don't get into that too much. But it gives different ideas for how you can actually use it. So just like any wiki, it's really good solid information. And then it has other blocks that also accomplish motion. So we can click here on go to, and it'll show you the different ways that that block works. So again, part of the reason we picked Scratch for this particular course is it's free and available. There are a couple different ways you can use it. You can use it here online. There are also ways that you can download. So if you're in an environment where maybe the internet is really tightly locked down, there's a downloadable version that you can have actually on your desktop for students to use. So there are multiple ways to use it. It integrates with a lot of different environments. Like I said, there are a lot of different robotics environments, Makey Makes, Finch robots, all kinds of different things that integrate well with that Scratch environment. And there are a lot of different things you can do. There are actually college level courses that use Scratch as their primary language. So it can get really sophisticated. So it takes students from the very beginning and really moves through the grades really well with them. So again, Scratch is going to be the language we're going to be using. The one thing I would encourage you as you get started coding is please make sure you're playing. Coding is not something where you're going to type something in and it's perfect. There are always tweaks and little changes to make. You'll notice I'm a terrible speller, so I have to do a lot of debugging when I'm typing in things like variable names and things like that. Scratch is kind of nice. It removes some of that for us, but they're just the easiest way to learn to code is to hop right in and to just start playing and see what happens. One of the nice things about the Scratch environment is you really can't break anything. It's not going to hurt your computer. It's not going to break anything else. Worst case scenario, your program doesn't do exactly what you want it to do, and you have to go back and fiddle with it a little bit. But it's really, really important for us to get comfortable with that kind of learning ourselves so we can model that for our students. I hope this was helpful. Please let us know if you have any questions, and happy coding.